Hello, welcome to game 4 in the Allies tournament here. First match in the Allies tournament. We have a lot of Allies cards now, new ones. We've seen Battle Plan before, we've seen Courier, we haven't seen Carpenter at the bottom here. It gains 4 costs, non-terminal, and later in the game it acts as a remodel when supply piles are empty. At the top left is Guildmaster. This gains you favors, so this is connected to the ally Woodworkers Guild, which is effectively an advance. You could trash an action from your an action card from your hand to gain any other action card in the kingdom with favors, and Guildmaster nets you favors. Highwayman. I like this duration card. This is brilliant. This is the first duration card printed of its type, of its kind, I should say. You put it in play, next turn you draw 3 cards. Importantly, you also discard it from play. So the same Highwayman that drew you 3 cards can come back in play on the turn it drew you 3 cards. No other duration card does that in the game. I like it. I like that it does that. And it also makes the first treasure worthless. Doesn't seem particularly impactful, but we'll see. Hunter here, this is a lab, or potentially more. You look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You put 1 action, 1 treasure, and 1 victory card into your hand and discard the rest. Finally, a specialist. This is like a throne room, but instead of doubling up on an action, you can also double up on a treasure. Or instead of doubling the action play, you could play it once and then gain a copy of it. So you play it once as is, and then you could choose to replicate the effect or gain a copy of it, whichever it is, if it's action or treasure. Alright, so that's the kingdom. Those are the new cards. It's a lot to take in. I know I was also overwhelmed while playing here. But we'll see what we can do here. On the opening, it looks like some kind of exorcist opening, and you build with hunters as the lab, pseudo lab kind of thing. Not much else to do really. Actions are kind of tight. There's the ghost, but a lot of work to get the ghost. So I figured I'd just build up with as many hunters as possible and see how things go from there. Silver is going to help me get to 5 for those hunters. Exorcist is going to help me trash the deck. So we agree on the opening Exorcist and Silver. We get the 5 as desired. And instead of going for a hunter straight away, I go for a Highwayman. Now, we'll discuss that later. 5 for Sean is, I believe, a hunter here instead of a Highwayman. Yeah. 3 is our battle plan. This is actually a very influential card in the kingdom, battle plan, so I'm happy I picked it up early. We get our wisp as well. Sean does the same, and here's the Highwayman. So in play, I drew 2 estates, which is sad. I would have liked to pick up a silver or something. Highwayman is in play. So it's going to draw me 3 cards at the start of my next turn, which is very good. Also, it's going to invalidate one of Sean's treasure, which turned out to be influential. They have a turn just like me, because that copper is blank. So 2 isn't attractive, isn't worth anything, and they just opt to gain a wisp. Battle plan here, I'm going to rotate around to the archers. I want to get to the warlords. I think the warlord will be very impactful here. This is a kind of kingdom where you would like to play lots and lots of hunters, but the warlord says no. You could only play 2 of them. Build your deck accordingly. So the warlord is very important. This floodgate kind of card. Floodgates are powerful cards in general. So we go for a hunter of our own here. Battle plan from Sean rotates around to the warlord. So they get the warlord. If they draw back that battle plan, they could hide the warlord from me, as I am unable to buy one on this turn. Very sad situation. Luckily, they do not find their battle plan. This Highwayman has been doing some tremendous work for me here. Keep them off 5. I presume they would have bought a warlord there. I presume they would have bought a Warlord there, and then they may have been able to win the Warlord split 3-1, which means they would have turns where they would not be under the influence of the Warlord. Critical. That is very critical. That completely changes the game. Because then you could stack lots of hunters, specialist hunter, play it twice, you get all the actions, you get a deck as you are used to, but Warlord in play every turn says no to that. So that Highwayman has been tremendous so far. Particularly here, keeping them off Warlord. I felt like they would have picked up the Warlord there if they could have. Battle Plan draws an extra card off the Highwayman being an attack. That's a useful, helpful bonus from the battle plan there. Inadvertent, of course. And I am able to get up to my 5 for Warlord. Now here, I could trash a silver for an imp, and probably I should be doing that considering the third Will-O-Wisp I can't play. There's still some value to the third Will-O-Wisp in terms of consistency. Also in terms of Woodworker's Guild, as you'll see shortly here. I think Sean uses it. No, they get all 3 into play next turn or next 2 turns or something to do. So they get a second Warlord, which is what I also want to do, and they trash one of their silvers for an imp. I didn't like that initially because Highwayman is attacking their treasure. Maybe they need the money, but they have 2 of them, so probably trashing 1 is fine. And better than trashing coppers like I end up doing here. I play this whole game without imps because I'm an imp, apparently. I should have trashed at least 1 silver into an imp at some point, but I don't. I choose to just use the Exorcist to clean copper. For reasons, apparently. Anyways, so the imp is much better. You need the drill. Battle plan, Wisp, the Warlord comes down, most importantly, so now I have to be judicious about how I play my actions. I only get to play 2 of them, so we have to keep that in mind, and we also want to keep Warlord lock on. Sean uses the Woodworker's Guild there to trash their third Wisp to gain a Specialist, effectively a Throne Room. Still has 5 to pick up a Highwayman. They were commenting in voice chat that my Highwayman has done so much work for me, and it is true. It's true that effectively didn't let me lose the game there because it prevented them from winning the Warlord split potentially. So I owe a lot to that Highwayman in this game. Very happy I went for that before the Hunter. I also am going to use the Woodworker's Guild to gain a Specialist. Play my silvers instead of trashing 1 of them. Again, I really shouldn't be doing that. I go for another Hunter for draw. I don't really know why, because I'm already drawing the deck. That probably should have been another Specialist, which could also function as draw. I started to think here about Wine Merchant now that I saw Specialist could function as a Throne Room to give you plus actions. The plus buy will be very, very helpful. Alright, so Sean doesn't see all of the deck here, but is able to maintain Warlord lock and gets a Highwayman into play, gets another Specialist. Alright, so these Wisps come out. Battle plan is going to draw an extra card because I have an attack in my hand. I like that very much. Warlord comes down. Obviously, that has to come down. Specialist here could actually gain me a Hunter, and I will take the extra Hunter because I can trash it with the Exorcist to gain a Ghost. Also, it provides some consistency to the deck, right? That you can't play with just 2 Hunters and hope to see it in your hand every single time. Even if you can't play all the Hunters, it's sometimes worth having the redundancy. Wine Merchant for me here. Now I'm starting to go into more exotic territory, which I like. Sean draws their whole deck because Specialist and Imp is tremendous. Throne Imp is very, very good. They get their warlord down as well. So the luck is going to be that we will have to play this whole game with only 2 copies of actions, really. That's what it's looking like. Both of us are drawing the deck now, and we're able to keep that warlord in play at all times. So they get a wine merchant as well. Here the exorcist comes out, trashes another silver for an imp. So I think that is their second imp. I still have no imp. I don't know why. I love my silvers, apparently. So far, well, we'll point this out when it comes up. This is a bit of an afford. And this is why I do like Hunter sometimes. Because I want all these cards and Hunter will only pick up 1. All my treasure is probably in my hand already. So the Hunter doesn't draw as many cards as I would like it to. But what can you do, you know? This will happen sometimes. Especially considering I'm trimming coppers out from my deck all the time. I am able to draw through the deck though because I could play the Hunter twice with the Specialist and Battle Plan draws an extra card. So we get around to everything. Nothing to worry about. Sack a copper to the Highwayman attack. I get to 10, which is going to be another Specialist for me for the actions. And it's not really 10 because I have a Wine Merchant on the mat. So I would like to get that off the mat. Instead, it's going to be another silver. I don't really see what else to gain. And maybe that would incentivize me to finally trash one of these silvers for an imp. Instead, I go for the ghost. I have a stupid weakness for ghost. I don't care if the card is good or not. I want to gain ghosts. So we gain our ghost here. Ghost has some interesting, not interesting, but Warlord only limits the actions that you could play, and Ghost is not an action, so you could play multiple Ghosts, but then I don't think the Ghost could play, 3 Hunters, for example, if you have 2 Ghosts in play. I don't know what happens if it turns up the 3rd Hunter. Alright, so Sean draws through. Warlord comes down, very important. That does warp the game. Warp Lord, haha. Maybe we'll call it that from now on. No silvers, but they have lots of money anyway from the wine merchant. I think they use their specialist on the wine merchant, which is excellent. To be able to play that twice, I want to do that. I would like to have a specialist wine merchant and have 8 coins. They go for more hunters. And I think they get a ghost here as well. They do make an interesting play near the end of this game here. I don't think they do it yet. I think they need the ghost to be able to do it. Really, why don't I have an imp? I should really have an imp at this point. There's no reason for me to not have an imp. I refuse to trash the silver. 8 here, I think they are considering province. No, probably not, because the wine merchant is only mat. They take another wine merchant, trash a hunter to gain a ghost, yeah. So here's the Highwayman specialist on the hunter to gain some action. So I get 2 cards here, a hunter and a copper. And here again, 2 cards again. I'll take the warlord for the extra card from the battle plan. So we haven't been rotating the territory pile because I don't want them to buy battle plans. They are labs, very cheap labs too. So I don't want that to happen. Here, I don't see the whole deck for the first time since, we started drawing the deck. The wine merchant, we missed it actually, which is bad, very bad. But on the other hand, I am able to play the ghost and have the ghost hit the wine merchant here, which is good. So a bit of a trade-off, but I would rather have the plus buy here. I think I could always buy a wine merchant and then play the ghost after that. Forget about the what is this thing? Highwayman's treasure killing effect there. Exorcist, I'm gonna trash for another ghost and use the ghost to play wine merchant twice. So wine merchant also docks the warlord because it's not in play. disappears to the tavern mat. So potentially you could play lots and lots of wine merchants. Potentially, if your deck is organized as such. Sorry. So Sean finally rotates the battle plans back to the top of the pile here. I thought they were going to buy some, but I don't think they ended up buying it. I was very happy to buy them on my turn. They do see their whole deck. The power of Imp, right? The power of Imp. Specialist will gain them Hunter. They draw that Hunter Warlord. And here they make a very interesting play. They saw a lot of things in all these games that I did not see or didn't even think about at all. Donald X in the chat. Thank you, Donald X, for visiting. Thank you for making this brand new expansion, keeping the game running. We appreciate you very much. So here's the interesting play. There's a specialist. That's not the interesting part. This is the interesting part. Double tunnel. Discards 2 wine merchants. Why? So that the ghost could flip at least one of the tunnels to gain gold. I didn't think of that. That never crossed my mind. And if they didn't tell me in voice chat, it would have never crossed my mind. Really. Really. It didn't work out for them, unfortunately. Here is an issue with the Hunter. Does not pick up knights. Doesn't pick up knights, which is a problem. So I actually have to be very judicious about how I play the wisps and the hunters. I want to play the hunters first, I think, and then use the wisps to try and pick up the ghosts from the discard pile or maybe near the end of the deck or something. Here, look, I missed my exorcist as well because the hunter doesn't pick it up. More problems with hunter here. Do get to draw a couple cards with the battle plan though, which is helpful. And on top of the deck is Exorcist and Ghost, and there's no way for me to get to it. Look. That is sad. I might as well just gain a copy of the Hunter here. So not able to get my second Ghost into play, but we have quite a few wine merchants down. The Ghost played their my wine merchant twice, and I have another one in play. Lots of money. 22 is going to be enough for battle plans. I don't want them to have the battle plans. And I take up province. Time to start greening. I don't really see what else there is to do. And I go for a Carpenter here because the Hunter pile seems like it'll finish soon. So I could potentially remodel province into province or something in the end game. Anyways, so that is what I end up doing. Sean here has problems with the drawing the whole deck. Is obviously bigger now, right? So it's more difficult to do. And critically, there were 3 cards at the bottom of the deck that the Hunter turned up, and they needed all 3 to have a good turn. I think right now, where is it? Is it here? Or is it on the next turn? I guess it's on the next turn, never mind. Spoilers. 17 is not actually 17, unless you want to leave the wine merchants on the mat, so they could get province and something. Province, yeah, is in order. Hunter makes my Carpenter turn into remodel, and they discard their wine merchants there. They gain another ghost, trashing one of their specialists. So Highwayman comes in. Very helpful to have those extra 3 cards at the start of the turn. This is a great hand for me. Could just play this Hunter twice. Both my Hunters twice, actually. And that is exactly what I end up doing. I need the draw, clearly. From last time, I didn't have the draw. Fortunately, I have my ghosts. I will skip past the Exorcist, because that is just how Hunter behaves. Battle plan as lab. I could play that twice. And I still have my wisps to play, so we drew through most of the deck here. Very good. Maybe I don't want to play it, but I do want to find the Highwayman. That has been a real champion card for me here. We missed the Exorcist there, but I mean, the deck is fat now, so what do you expect? Highwayman, definitely. The choice really is just between how many wine merchants I want to play. The answer is 2. The answer is 2, and now these ghosts don't really have targets. 16, again, is really 14, so I go for province. And territory. The territory gets me a gold because the hunter pile is empty, which I can then remodel with Carpenter potentially. Oh, that was cute. I didn't even think about that. The wine merchants get discarded, so now both ghosts do have targets, and they are wine merchants. That's a lot of money. That's 16 money on my next turn incoming. I already have double province. And I'm not using up my terminals for wine merchants, so I have space to play the Carpenter to remodel that gold I just gained. Maybe buy another province. Or two. Anyway, so this is the critical shuffle for showing the battle plan, warlord, and hunter. They needed all three, but they have to choose one of. And that kind of stunts their turn here, and they just call it a game at this point. So we somehow win 3.5 points here out of 4, even though I didn't really know what was happening with all the new cards. We'll have more allies content as this tournament progresses. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.